Custer car. And I believe, as far as my knowledge, there's really only 3 of these in existence. And 2 are in the museum where Henry Ford bought 2 for his grandchildren. One is a racer style, and the other one is almost a dead ringer to mine here, except that mine has the fenders on it. And where I get the year of 1935, it has this engine, which is a Model B Briggs that I have the manual for. And also we have the, I don't know if you can see him here yet, we have the ID tag that shows Custer. The hardest part of this is trying to find the year of this, which I found finally by searching out that the engine here is original, and it's the Model B style engine, which was first built in '34, and then and the serial numbers follow where this puts it, this serial number in 1935, right around April, I believe. The lighting system, when we talk about what's original to this, I'm not sure if you can see it here. You can maybe get a picture on over here, right on this side here. Right down here, where it rubs. I'll see if I can get my light here for you. This is an AC generator. Puts out 6 volts at about 3 amps, and it's enough to do all of the lighting in the unit here, including the horn and the illuminated ornament, hood ornament. Then, if you can see it, underneath here, we have the suspension. I don't know if you can see the springs right there in the bottom, just about hanging down there. Those are tension springs that the body actually hangs off of the motor frame. Then back up here, in the engine compartment again, we're looking at the drive, which is a centrifugal style drive, and it's driven to a, what I would call, nothing much different than a tractor bull gear system at a 12-to-1 ratio. The brake, as you can see it, is a brake band, it's a brake drum. Basically it was off a truck that they had used for that time. It's a crank start. And then getting back to, like I said before, about the originality, of course, the tail light and the stop light they did not have. I put this in there because I thought it was awful fitting with that plate by putting it as Custer 1935. Then, as we proceed here, the horn, of course, is a button, that's obvious. Then it's just a light switch here. It's just an on and off for the illuminated Blackstone manufacturing hood ornament. I thought was very unique. Of course, the mirrors weren't original to it, but the holes were there for mirrors. And the same was with this headlight. Then what's interesting to note here is the hubs. I could not find any kind of like a decent hubcap, although they're very similar to what they had, except it was more of a brown mushroom style. So I picked these off of the eBay, and they are a Porsche, fitted for Porsche. I thought that looked pretty good. And then we get over here. The grill is probably the most expensive part of this whole car when it comes to restoring it. And that was done in Tennessee by a plating company. It's a triple plate, and they did just an excellent job. So all that you see here in the metal part and the size, everything about it is original. Then it's a bumper. The front end is a swing axle style, and it's pivoted right in the center of them. It's sandwiched between an oak piece, or not oak, but maple, with a 1x1 strap metal across the top. And then as we move around, get into the engine compartment here. This is not really a shift lever, but more of a belt tightener. That part was not original. I did add that. That was more for safety than anything else. So what it does is releases the belt. It protects it from moving forward if the brake can't hold it, which is this. I've had emergency brake in here. That is not original either, but they used this very similar, the same thing. But it was not. It was only a device to pull back for braking, but it was a more of a pipe-shaped looking unit and could not be parked as a parking brake. This one does, so there's safety involved in it. Back to the tires, it was really, really tough to find tires for this because the odd size was a 4x18. And I was just lucky enough after searching overseas. I had friends over there in Germany and the Netherlands and Norway. They searched out for me, could not come up with that tire, that vintage. And what the tire is originally are these. There were 4 of them like that. They're called a pneumatic. That means there's no tube in the inside. It was just like a solid tire basically, but hollow enough to accept air in the inside. They were called pneumatic. There was only 3 good ones in there, so I could not use them at all. For anything else I would have come up with would have been a mismatch. So back to the tires here. A friend of mine in town here has tire sales for both the town and countryside, and he came up with a metric in a search. One company that he found had 3 in inventory, another company had 1, so that made the 4. I was very, very lucky to get that because he will not be making that tire size anymore. Very lucky. Then let's see, what else we got here. Basically, to start this engine is a choke naturally, and then they have a decompression, and that part is original to it. So we can make an attempt here to start it. Turn the gas on here. Pull the choke, or set the choke. Pull the decompression. Shut her down before we get gassed out of here. Okay. Now, what did I leave out here? Oh, the tire, not my tire, but the size of this unit and weight. Weight is about 365 pounds. The length of it is about 8 feet. The cockpit width is about 18 by 3 feet. Now, I don't know if I had mentioned this, I'll forget here, but the other ones that are the Custer cars that we're knowing about right now, there's one, I believe, in Ohio, and this is the company itself, Custer, was they called Custer Specialty Company, and they made in around the early 1920s, they made ambulatory systems, and one of those was a motorized wheelchair, and that actually followed through until around 1930. So it was really a wicker basket style motorized wheelchair. Then he went into the cars, and then he also went into an ambulatory type scooter, 3-wheel with a tiller bar steering. There's a lot, or not a lot, there's a few of those around I've seen, but in the cars, no. The only other one I know about now is the one in Ohio that's for sale. It's supposed to be a 2-seater, but there's an awful lot missing to that car, so the originality is not going to be strong. And then the other one is for sale now, I think, in one of the motor magazines, and I believe it's a 1924, but it's electric, and that was some of their first ones out. Pretty much all of these cars that were built back then were overgrown pedal cars, where they kind of where they got their image from. So they just actually motorized those. Some of you only sat it and your legs were on the outside of them. This in the later models, they could actually get into the cockpit and steer them. I don't think I can think of anything else right now, so that's about it.